Everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for another Mystery Mystic reading. I wanted to do a quick part 2, following up to the detailed opening oracle reading I did for Levi Davis. I had hoped after I did that reading that he would have been found by now, but he hasn't been, and it's been a long time. I mean, it was October when this all occurred, the disappearance, and them discovering his passport at a Barcelona port. And the recent developments are, it comes out several months later, and I'll put articles in the description box so you can check out the latest with his case. But the latest is there was like some cruise liner or ship, and the crew members had saw a male that fit his description floundering, begging for help, speaking in English. Mind you, this is a Spanish port that they're pulling into. So he's speaking English, wearing a similar shirt that Levi was last seen in, and he's begging for help. And they threw out a life preserver, but they didn't find him. They called the Coast Guard that day, wasn't able to find him. This was like 6:30 in the morning. So I have some specific questions about that piece. All right, check out the detailed opening oracle reading because we explore all sorts of things surrounding this really I don't know, it's just this wild case that just there's so many layers to it. So yeah, let's just get to it. So our first question is, was it Levi who was last seen pleading for help in the waters near the port in Barcelona? Was that him? Yeah. We have 6 of Wands. It affirms that, yeah, there's a very strong possibility that he was, that's the one. He's the one. I'm going to reshuffle. I want a clear message. Here, one card, please. Oh, my goodness. I can't shuffle today. One card, please. What was it? Let's see. Was it Levi who was last seen pleading for help in the waters near the port? Wow. Yeah. Okay, so we have the 6 of Wands, which is an affirmative of yes. Even the blue sky in this card just speaks to that for me. It's like also we're honing in on a person. All eyes are on this person. And that, you know, to our question, was that him? Well, yeah, this was him needing to be saved. We have the star. Look at this, you all. This water, this star card. The star card is, you know, about recovery or a need for recovery. And it is also an affirmative card of yes. For like, this occurred at 6:30 in the morning when they spotted someone that fit a similar description of Levi. And so this is like dark scene. You know, you got your one last vestige of hope, waving and floundering your hands to try and screaming help in English. That's what he was doing. He was trying to be helped. If this was a man who went in intentionally, I don't see him, or maybe he goes in intentionally and then has a change of heart. That's a possibility. Perhaps it could also be he fell in accidentally. Although I looked at the Google Street View of the of where the port was in Barcelona, where he was last seen, and it just doesn't seem like an area that you could just, I suppose you could fall in accidentally, but it's not like a beach. It's not like this area where you could just kind of walk off or wander into. It just is interesting to me. If you know what ports look like, you know, I don't know. So I have questions about how he would end up in the water. I have questions. So the next question we have is well, that's my next question. I'm going to use this deck. How did he end up in the water? Spirit, how did Levi end up in the water? Okay, we have 8 of fire in reverse. In reverse. 2 of water. Some kind of interpersonal relationship. 2 or more. 2 people there at the scene. 2 or more. Okay. So it's not indicating here to me that he just did this by himself. Hold on, Spirit. I need to ask clearly. Thank you for that card, but I want to ask clearly. How did Levi end up in the water? How did he end up in the water? 8 of swiftness, 8 of wands in reverse. I have to sit with that one. But the 2 really stands out to me that somebody else was in town, or in town. I'm looking at this, out of town. Someone else was a party to the situation. And it could be interpersonal relationship situation. Because here's the thing. We asked the question, was that likely him? We get a strong indication with these 2 cards of yes. The next natural question will be, well, how did he get into the water? That would be the natural next question to me. Because you could say, oh, he accidentally slipped in and fell. That's a possibility, but I hope law enforcement is really exploring, maybe he was robbed, or maybe he was met with some foul play. I'm sensing that he could have been with the 8 of wands in reverse. Okay, 2 parties. We have here abused, neglected. That is the oracle card that jumped. We have out of town. He was out of town, but it could be someone else who was out of town who's responsible. Maybe not necessarily a local, but someone who's also passing through the town. I'm going to zoom out so you all can see these cards a bit better. I know that Levi was traveling from Great Britain or, England or, and then he went down to Ibiza, and then from there he ended up in Barcelona, Spain. So he's definitely out of town, but this also could speak to whomever was abusing or neglecting, or maybe pushed him and neglected to provide help or hurt him in a way that he fell in. That is what I'm picking up on. He was in a vulnerable state. We see this with this child, a vulnerable state. Okay. Now, this card. Murder Suicide is saying that someone else is here. This card means a lot to me. It is speaking out to the fact that someone could have caused harm to him, but relying on it being viewed as him taking his own life. Okay, that's what I'm sensing here. But that it really could be this, or it could be a bit of both. This also just supports further that there's someone else involved with this situation. Someone also destroyed or attempted this person, the same person who was trying to eliminate messages. Now, if you watch, I think part 1, and in the articles, you'll see mention of that there was messages being deleted off his phone after he was reported missing, after his password was found. And apparently after this sighting that was just recently reported months and months later, that people were going in his phone and deleting, messages and IG video he did where he was saying that he feels like his life is in danger. It was just wild. And so that is an element to this as wild. And so I get what stands out really strongly to me is the middle keyword of destruction. The person who is responsible for having a hand in what happened to him and how he got into the water. This is 2 of water cups, how he got into the water. This has something to do with the person who is also responsible for trying to destroy digital evidence. Okay. This basically, I had a question of, did he do, was this his own doing? But I think we have the answer to if someone else had a hand in this. And so that I'm going to just leave it at that, because that does answer that question. And so I think now I want to ask about what is next for the search for Levi. Okay, 6 of water. That's encouraging. Daughter of earth. Okay. Okay. So it's going to be a slow progression to getting answers, unfortunately. But in the end, with the 6 of water, it's going to be a situation where there is some sort of information coming through. Now, there may be a development happening in the mid part of summer with the 6 of cups or 6 of water, in terms of timing or the season. It would be like midsummer that there could be another development as it relates to finding him or his or more clues being released to the family. This is also a slow progression of getting information. The earth suit moves the slowest for me. We're talking years in the making. Years in the making for perhaps getting answered. Years in the making, or it could be years in the making of finding him, or years in the making of getting justice. And if you want to know the number of years, it can be up to 11 to 12 years at least, but hopefully not. Hopefully not. I would encourage the family to keep his name in the news and to keep pressure on the Spanish government to continue the search for him. Because, and not just the search for him, they need to also, and I think I read somewhere that they are investigating all aspects, all lines of inquiry. That is good, and they need to continue to do that, because it's not just the sense of finding him, it's also for Levi to receive justice. You know, it's looking like they want it, somebody wants it to appear that he did this to himself, when I'm not sensing that that's the case. Okay, so just be careful and just taking their slow movement or their inaction as the way to receive anything, you know, any sort of like, okay, well, I'll just accept that. No, keep pushing. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Okay, so we have missing. So this is speaking to that 6 of Cups energy of there could be some developments, more information coming. It also, just so you know, the cups can represent the timing of days. So it could be 6 of water, 6 of cups, 6 days. But I'm sensing this is speaking more to midsummer, that the family, maybe not us, the public, but the family, those closest to the situation, will get some sort of development or some additional information as it relates to him being missing. We have outside, so it's not like he's, you know, it's not like that he's not, you know, in somebody's building or, you know, like inside somewhere. Outside is what I'm picking up on here. You know, this card could have multiple meanings, but that's on face value. That's what I'm picking up on. We have news, media, and the press. I know how important it is for the family to make sure that his reputation isn't tarnished. And I can understand that 100%. However, I know also it's a double-edged sword, but it is imperative to keep the media engaged in his story and to keep pressuring. This is one of the tools that the family and loved ones of Levi has to pressure this slow-moving daughter of Earth to action. They're going to take slow and deliberate steps, but it's going to be painful in terms of getting things moved along. And again, I emphasize this again. Just because they may say that they think he drowned, do not try to accept that for face value. Okay, do not accept that for face value. Yes, it could bring some initial peace, but there's an opportunity here for you to get more answers and even justice for your loved one. We have choke. We have choke. So again, like something happening here to him, two parties at least involved in the situation, choking back the truth. This could be information being choked back, just so you know, but it also could mean, you know, manually doing something to someone else, causing them to falter, to not be able to breathe, to not be able to speak up. There's something about that element as well. Okay, so that's what I'm picking up on there. Another thing we've got here, it says life, insurance, or inheritance. What stands out to me about this card is that this is speaking to him meeting with someone perhaps as a means to protect himself or loved ones, I'm sensing. Okay. We have video, audio, surveillance. There's evidence and key information that maybe has not been released to the public that maybe comes out very soon. Not just the video that has been mentioned, the surveillance video at the pub. There could be other video at the port, videos on his phone that alludes to who maybe could be the real true person who last was around him, and surveillance. That's going to be critical evidence to unlock what may have happened to him. How did he end up in the water? Yes, I'm getting a strong sense that was him. I'm getting a strong sense of that. But how and why did he get there? We have aiding and abetting. So someone is involved that's aiding and abetting in this situation. Aiding after the fact and abetting. So maybe they are trying to blackmail him to saying, oh, well, you contributed to something, so now you gotta pay up. And he just was not really, he was despondent before he disappeared at times, and something was weighing on him, and he was always at the mercy of whatever this was weighing on him. So I think that when he made his way to Barcelona, this was a way to confront this situation, for better or for worse, and just try to move forward with his life. And that didn't necessarily unfold in that way. Okay. We have unloved, unwanted. Someone in a dynamic felt unloved and unwanted. That speaks to that despondency that I was mentioning. But it could speak to another person feeling no longer important. Like their level of importance in Levi's life was diminished. And so that was perhaps a problem here. Now, the last thing I'm going to ask is it best for me, Spirit, to proceed with the part 3, which would be a detailed tarot and oracle reading? Spirit says maybe. Spirit says maybe. We have 7 of Cups. And that's, why don't you wait and see? Give it another 7 days or a little bit after mid-summer. Maybe even July, or I don't know, with the 7. And just see where we're at. See if he has been found, or if there's been additional information that comes out in June. If not, then go ahead and do that follow-up reading, that part 3. So I will table it. I will table this for now. I am hopeful for an outcome where Levi is found and where answers are given to the family and friends that make sense and that ring true, and that if something has happened to him, that he gets justice. Okay? We got circumstantial evidence. So looking at the pieces, I think what Spirit wants me to do with this, and I'm now hearing it, it could either be 7 days, the Spirit wants me to wait again, maybe not midsummer, but it could be that. But Spirit wants me to explore what I already have. Go back to the drawing table, look at the questions that I had written out for Levi's detailed tarot and oracle reading. When I created those questions, they were after I did the detailed oracle reading, the opening oracle reading. So things may have changed. So I need to go back, look at the questions I was planning to pose, and also I need to listen again to part 1 to see if any of the questions that I have now today in May of 2023 have already been answered or confronted or dealt with in the opening oracle reading. So I have to go back to the drawing board here, and I'm seeing that I'm seeing that across the board here with these 2 images. So I will receive that, Spirit. So Spirit is like, not yet. You've got a little homework to do, Kim. You got a little homework. So get on to your homework. And then you can go ahead and explore doing a reading. And I pray that I don't need to. I pray that we get the answers we need, that he's found, and his family can move forward. All right, we're going to wrap up here. I just wanted to do a part 2, touch base to see if a part 3 was warranted, to see where we're at. Also, most importantly, to see whether the energy surrounding was that him in the water. And my intuition saying yes. What does your intuition say about that? Have you been following this case? Do you know about all the details? It's a lot going on. Please check it out. And also, if you believe, say a prayer for the family. Just a loving thought of enveloping them with a light of strength and a light of answers and protection and guidance as they navigate this difficult situation. This is difficult for a family to be in, right? They are in Great Britain, and he was last seen in Spain. So that means they have to go back and forth from one country to another, and they're missing their loved one dearly, and just with no answers, it just feels like no end in sight is what my intuition is saying. So I send love to them and strength at this time. All right, my friends, that's it for now. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please, on your way out, hit the like button as well as subscribe. Please do that, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.